Hold your fire. He has a hostage.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of FBI Season 6, Episode 5. Sacrifice Review, Breakdown, and Ending Explained. This could be the first glimpse into Maggie's future chapter. The theme of FBI Season 6, Episode 5 was parenthood. We now know why Jessica, Maggie's old buddy from Quantico, who she had never mentioned previously, was introduced in FBI Season 6, Episode 4, Seeking Hostages. Jessica appears to be a one-off in an episode centered on the struggles of Muslim law enforcement officials. But no, she was back on the rifle range, swapping gal talk with Maggie, like long-distance agent buddies do. Under fire, Jessica achieved Maggie's goal of having a kid without the need for a suitable partner. Yes, that is the old standby. Maggie's biological clock is ticking, and thanks to modern medicine, she doesn't need a partner to accomplish this. How do we know this is the case? Throughout the episode, she gives yearning glances and speaks emotionally. Why wouldn't this be a wonderful idea? What about the remainder of her activities in the episode? Reflective partners. This was one of Dick Wolf's signature ripped from the headlines themes. Choose one or more. Illegal immigration, cartels, predators, and sex trafficking. Even the initial suspect blamed illegals for his girlfriend's death. But wouldn't that have been too obvious? The FBI was only called in because the kidnapping coincided with a contentious political topic. Instead, tensions rose quickly when the kidnapper kidnapped Sawyer, the director of a migrant center, and his pregnant wife. Upon questioning the witness, it was discovered that he had a real complaint, although he blamed the wrong person, similar to the initial suspect. It was easy to sympathize with Hector, a struggling father. The ex-cop came to this country to escape the cartels that had murdered his wife and to provide a better life for his daughter, Maria. Instead, Maria had vanished 3 days before, and no one was taking his missing person complaint seriously. He hadn't been in this nation long enough to realize that any missing person of color case, let alone one involving a migrant, would receive minimal attention. It didn't help that he kidnapped the wrong individual based on a flawed, albeit well-intentioned, identification. The reality was considerably worse because Maria was in the hands of a pedophile. Jock boss. Emma, Maria's little companion and witness, cannot be friended. In such a chaotic environment as the migrant center, all those gringos must have seemed the same to her. And Hector acted more like a parent than a cop. Why else would he have identified Sawyer, a good man and father-to-be, as a sex trafficker? Hector was a ticking time bomb. No one was taking him seriously. Maggie got it. That didn't necessarily imply she was in the optimal mental state for the discussion with Hector. She was in a maternal state of mind. Therefore, she would support him despite his questionable decisions that day. Spotlight case. No, Hector was a desperate man in a foreign place where his previous respect meant nothing. He was just one of too many migrants. So he took action, which landed him on the wrong side of an FBI tactical team. Maggie's presence is beneficial to him. Maggie did make a cowboy move that she would have criticized Oa for making. Knowing that the pregnant Mrs. Sawyer had to get out of that dangerous situation, she offered herself as a hostage, armed only with a bobby pin. She stalled and stalled, trying to communicate with and reach Hector. She also saved his life, though he never realized it, by refusing to acknowledge to the shooter that he was the shadow in the window. Suspect's employer. While she distracted Hector, Scola, who might teach Maggie about new parenting, and Tiffany were searching for Maria. It was a terrible trick to have Gamble talk about Maria, making it appear as if she were dead, before he moved with his revolver to shoot Scola. Her death would have put things in a bad direction. Instead, the scant information provided by his employer was enough to help them find Maria's hiding place. That call from her calmed a tense situation at the Sawyer house, prompting Hector to surrender just in time. Tracking suspect. It was a somber ending as Oa and Maggie interviewed Hector later. Maria at least had an established uncle to live with while Hector was in prison, which was teeming with cartel members. Hector will never get out. Maggie, as she later informed Jessica, got a taste of what it was like to be a parent, with constant worry over her child. She'd best savor those cocktails with friends, which will be limited to a single mother. It will be interesting to see if this plot continues, or if Maggie's time with Hector was enough to turn her off the thought of parenthood. Thank you for watching.